bowl, a good size, is about an 8 by 8 um, slab. It doesn't have to be a square, it could be a circle. And I would suggest having students experiment with different ways of cutting their slabs in circles or squares or other shapes, but also in where they cut the two overlap lines. The easiest way that I've found to do that is you have your piece of paper and you just find center by marking corner to corner. And then I've got these great stencils that so many of you have in your classrooms that indicate where the 1/4 inch mark is. And I want about a 3-inch base. So you can see that I'm lining up these 1/4 marks, and that'll tell me about where my base is. And then from here, the students can decide to cut along that diagonal, or they could just cut, if they want to fold the paper and then cut the other direction. Again, that's going to yield you 2 different results. If you are cutting on that diagonal, you're going to get something a little bit more like this that has a little bit more of a dynamic rim. And then if you're cutting the way that I've folded the paper here, so on the horizontal and on the vertical, you're going to get more this result. So I would suggest about a 3/8 inch slab for this one, which is thicker than what I usually do, but I think the construction technique can handle it. And you may want to have your students apply a texture and think about how the texture application can be applied to part or all of the slab and creating, areas of contrast. And then you might need to take your 8 by 8 and go back over. Although I find that these origami bowls are a little bit forgiving and the inconsistencies don't always bother me. You could talk about, do you want your design to just be on the interior or the exterior, and does that, affect functionality? So sometimes if you're going to be using your bowl for something more functional, less decorative purpose, you may not want a bunch of crazy textures that are going to hold on to food or whatever else. Not me. I'm going to put texture on the whole thing. Well, some areas of contrast. So I think I'm going to put the texture on the back side where it isn't on the front. And then again, I'm going to maybe true that up a little bit if that is your thing. Because this slab is a little bit thicker, I can go a little bit deeper with my texture, but you always want to be careful that the students aren't inadvertently creating unwanted negative space. Okay. I'm just going to make a mark where my folds are. also going to mark where I want to cut down to, because I do want to leave that nice 3-inch base. Okay, so I'm going to cut here. And then I want the other side to be my interior, I think. Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to go ahead and just pre-score. I'm just going to score in the same spot in each quadrant. Maybe should have done that on the back before I flipped it. So let's think. If this part, I guess it would be in the same spot. These little one and done exercises, I don't really just consider them time fillers. I find that these are really good activities for practice in stamping or other applied textures. They're really great surfaces for alternative firing experimentation. And it's just another way of looking at how we are utilizing slab technique. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold and overlap. And I'm going to hold it in my hand so that the bowl or base part of this bowl is up against the concave part of my hand. And then if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I like to keep some plastic bags around. So for this, I'm going to rest it. I'm going to create a little bit of a cushion out of some plastic bags just to give it some support. Then I'm going to continue to smooth out and refine these score marks, but I'm also sealing up that join. I want to get in there and squeeze those slabs together. once all of the sides have been folded and attached, and I feel like it's a pretty secure join, I might go over it a couple of times. I'll let it rest on my little cushion here. But while I'm doing that, if I so decided, I'll give it a little paddle, I could just give it a flat base. So you can see that that's nice and flattened. This is what it's going to look like on the inside. Or I might choose to give it a foot of some kind, probably a ring, and then it could be finished up that way. And that is a simple origami bowl.